This is Rabbi Shlomo first here in Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi here in Yerushalyim, here HaKodesh. This is our first year in Pirkei Avos. It's first Chodesh Tammuz here in Yerushalyim, here at HaKodesh, and we're learning Pirkei Avos now the first parak, the 7th Mishnah, and Al Tisyayish Min HaPronish. One should give up hope in a situation of it could be despair, right? Where a person shouldn't forget about perennial hardships that will come. Ashrei Adam Mufati Kami. You should always be fortunate as the person who's always concerned about HaKodesh Baruch Hu being good to him under all circumstances and knowing that it could possibly change. And so therefore he's concerned about keeping up a good profile for HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So, but now Rabbeinu Tam in the same way Yosher is explaining to us what we're supposed to do in terms of our attitude when things happen, both what we consider to be good and also what we consider to be not good. And we really don't know what's the true good and what's the true non-good, because only Hashem knows what's the best for us. Okay, let's continue on. We'll start with we were talking previously all kinds of different events that happen to a person: exile, imprisonment, wealth, fame, illnesses, anything that might affect a person, whether it's, as we said, good or seemingly not good. HaKodesh Baruch Hu is testing a person. So that's what we're going to pick up. But Eis Hazos at that time.
Eis Hazos at that time, Yada, he knows, Yahiv Khan, Shekol Kol Mishak.
That's maskil. From intelligence, right?
Okay, so I don't know what Yavachin is.
Yavachin is when Bikina. Bikina is a test. Yavachin, it will be known, right? At that time it will be known, Yadua Yavachin will be known, and there will be a test of everybody with intelligence, right?
HaChazak hu HaKifra ki im yiyeh chazak ve'omonaso kayemes, established. So his strength,
HaChazak hu hirfa. The strength will weaken, right? Right, because at these times the strength that a person has will weaken. Ki'im unless yechazak ve'emunasoi kayemes. At that time, it's going to be. At that time, it will be known, and there will be a test of everybody's intelligence that the strength of a person will weaken unless he is strong, he's chazak, ve'emunos okayemes, and his faith will endure. Right?
So is chazak modifying faith? Strong faith?
I think it's ki im chazak ve'emunos, two things. He should be chazak, he should be strong, he should not waver, right? Mm-hmm. And his emunosoi, his trust in Hashem, his belief in Hashem will endure. Will also be continual, will continue, unaffected.
Lo yochlu kol ha-chidushim lechaser me'avodaso. It should not be able all of these things that come upon you, these events, to reduce his service.
Right. Because under the condition where he's going to remain strong, and his faith in Hashem will be continual, unaffected, then all these events won't be able to affect anyway and detract from his avodah.
Kasher lo yochlo ha-rochos ha-chazikos la'akur ha-har ha-gadol v'lahamisho mimkomo. So when he's not able harochos, I don't know what that is.
Those are winds. Kasher lo yochlu haruchos hahazakos.
Ruchos,
Just like
the strong winds.
Right, just like strong winds are not the yochlu, just like strong winds are not able to uproot.
La'akur, to root, hahar, a mountain, a great mountain. Ulahamisho, this place, and something this place.
I think it will like remain, meaning just as the strong winds cannot uproot a great mountain, and it's going to remain right in its place.
Mountain.
Right. The winds, they'll do something to the things which are not
Strong.
and rooted, right, and heavy.
Right.
All those things will be blown about. But something like a mountain, which is rooted and strong and heavy, they can't have any effect on the mountain.
Chain
What's the Hamishonim?
Hamiso is the mimkoma, and it will remain in its hamiso, and to uplift it from its place. Hamiso, to uplift it from its place. You won't be able to uproot the great mountain and to lift it from its place.
Chain hashkal.
Because hasachel, meaning the intelligent person.
Oh, okay. Therefore, an intelligent person, ha-chazak, that is strong, the ha-mona, and has faith, ha-ikaris, essentially, he has a basic.
I think it's his basic emunah, like emunah ekoris, his basic faith.
Lo yim ishum kol ella ha-me'orosav. He will not authorize. Yishum.
Yishum, it's the same word we had, hamishum, so they won't uplift, they won't disturb. Yeah, won't disturb.
Anything,
right?
Except
that's not Ella, that's Ela, those.
all of those ha-me'oros.
Those are events.
All those events. So those events will not bother him.
Yeah, won't have any effect on the person. So what we're basically being taught up to this point is that the way things affect a person will be dependent upon his faith. His faith in HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Through the strength of his faith in HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the greater the strength, the less effect things are going to have an effect on a person and his avoda. If he has less faith in HaKodesh Baruch Hu, then they'll have more of a chance of disturbing the person's service in avoda to Hashem.
V'tzarich ha'adam li zahar ba'et hazot. It's necessary for a person to to review,
to be careful.
to be careful at these times.
I mean, so when a person understands and realizes that there's a certain event occurring to him, and that event potentially can have a adverse effect on his avoda, his service to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, he has to be careful then. He has to realize to be careful, as I'll explain in detail.
Yada ki al zeh hitanai ba bevarich
That's Greece.
bevris im elokav. Okay, so he should know because of this the condition comes with the covenant with Hashem. What's that mean, the condition?
Okay.
The Tanai.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, a person has to be careful. When things are happening to him in one way or the other that are going to affect his avoda, his service to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, his fulfillment of mitzvahs, his learning Torah, right? He should know at that time he has to be careful. And the primary understanding he has to have is Ki al zehatanai ba b'brisim elkav. It was on this condition he entered into a covenant, a pact with the HaKodesh Baruch Hu.
On the condition that there will be these tests?
That there will be these tests, and that these tests will not affect his service of the HaKodesh Baruch Hu. He entered into a pact with the HaKodesh Baruch Hu that he's going to serve the HaKodesh Baruch Hu under all conditions.
But with the Goyim, doesn't really have them as dishonest.
What?
With the Goyim, yeah, they don't really get so much dishonest like he doesn't.
What? I don't think we're not included in this here.
Goyim are not included in this?
Yeah, they're not they don't have the same type of agreement that's the Gemara in Avodah Zorah, right? The Gemara in Avodah Zorah says like this: at the end of time, right, when Mashiach is sitting on his throne, and it's going to be time to give out rewards. So yeah, actually the end of the Beis Amid Aleph in the Gemara of Avodah Zorah. Dorash Rabbi Chanina Bar Papa. So expounded Rabbi Chanina Bar Papa. Vitema, others say that it was Rabbi Simloi. It was Rabbi Simloi. Now Osid Loivoi, in the future to come, maybe HaKodesh Baruch Hu Sifra Torah, Umenichoi B'cheikoi. So HaKodesh Baruch Hu was going to take the Sefer Torah. You have to understand the symbolism here, but leave the symbolism alone. Right? In the future, HaKodesh Baruch Hu is going to bring a Sefer Torah and be holding it in his chest. Ba'omer, and Hashem is going to say, "L'mi she'osik ba, go yitoscha." So he's going to make an announcement that for those who are oisik, those who were involved with the Torah, come and receive your reward. Miyad niskabsu uboy oivukochavim beruvia. Immediately the non-Jews will come, and in a commotion they'll come to HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Shene'emar, it says in the pasuk in Yeshaya, Kol hagoyim nikvatzu yachtav. All the goyim will gather together. Omer lehem HaKodesh Baruch Hu. HaKodesh Baruch Hu says to all the nations of the world, Al titnusu lefanei beruvia. Don't come before me in confusion. Ele tikanes kol uma v'uma. Rather, each and every nation shall come in individually. V'sifra and I'll bring their sages along with them. Shenemar, it says in the pasuk in Yeshaya, also we asvu umuim vein elamalkus. They shall gather all the nobles, and nobles are referring to the kings, the nobles. Shenemar l'uma yametz mi ikaberubya kamai Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara says, is there any such thing as confusion in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu? Elaki heichi delo yirivu. They shouldn't come for their own sakes and be in a state of confusion. Why do you shmu? Maida amalu? Because they should be able to come and listen carefully to what Hashem has to say for each and one of them. Right? So the Gemara continues. More continues on further, and it says that they're going to complain. They're going to complain and say that, well, we didn't have any mitzvahs to be involved with, right? And Klal Yisrael, why are they getting all the reward? They had lots of mitzvahs.
What about the Noachad?
Oh, so 7 mitzvahs. Right. However, that's not going to be exactly sufficient. Not going to be exactly sufficient. The Gemara continues on as follows. Says like this. Yodu behem Israel. It's known that by the Jews, Kampras call the Torah kula. They kept the whole Torah. Here's a pasuk. Amru lefanav Rabbanu Sholem. Tanu merosh menaseh. Give us an opportunity, and we'll do it. Amru lehem HaKodesh Baruch Hu says to those who are asking for another chance. They say, give us another chance. It says, Shotin Shabbaolam. It says, foolish ones. Misha Tareach Be'erev Shabbos, Oichel Shabbos. Me who was a Tareach B'Shabbos, one who puts forth efforts to prepare for Shabbos, he'll be the one to eat on Shabbos. Misha Lo Tarech Be'erev Shabbos, Mehechen Yochel B'Shabbos. Person's not going to put forth efforts to prepare for Shabbos on Shabbos. Where's he going to be able to eat from? Ela Afa Pikein Mitzvah Kala. He said, oh, okay, nevertheless, right? Nevertheless, Hashem says to the rest of the nations, He says, Alpha Peking Mitzvah Kale Yesu. The Sukkah Shema. I say I have an easy mitzvah, and it's named. It's called the Mitzvah of Sukkah. Local law, so go and do it. Bimad says, Amrat Havi. Can you say that? The more diverges for a moment, right? So the Gemara says, Ela she'ena Kadosh Baruch Hu ba men trusha im kol brio. So Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want to give anyone the disadvantage. Everyone has a chance. Everyone has a chance. So my korele mitzvah kala. Why is Sukkah called a mitzvah kala? It's an easy mitzvah. Why is Sukkah called an easy mitzvah? Mishum delay speichas or kids. Because there's no, you don't spend money on a sukkah. To build a sukkah, you can take, minimal building materials. You can, for the skach, you don't have to. You can go and get it from the fields, from the hefker branches and trees in the field. So you don't have to spend even money on the mitzvah sukkah. So miyad kol echad v'akanotu v'ol posu sukkah v'rosh gagoy. All the rest of the nations went. And they went and put up a sukkah on the Rosh Hashanah. They put a sukkah up on top of their houses. HaKodesh Baruch Hu mikadir aleim chama b'tkupas Tammuz. So Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. The more mentions tkupas Tammuz. Tammuz is a very hot time of the year, right? So it said HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right, had the sun come out and shine warmly like it does in the season of Tammuz. A very hot day. Made a very hot day. We call Echad the Echad Mabit the Sukkosot Yotzi. So all the non-Jews, they got up and they kicked their sukkahs and they went out. Shenemar nisnaka es losusemoi inishlo memeno avosemoi mechadir. So it says that they got up and they left the sukkahs. On the way out, they kicked the sukkah. Oh, so the Gemara asks, HaKodesh Baruch Hu doesn't let anybody lose out. So how can he take how can he make it an extremely warm day for the non-Jews? They went ahead, they did the mitzvah, they wanted to fulfill the mitzvah, they went and put the sukkahs on their roofs, and they were sitting in the sukkah, and Hashem made it so hot they had to leave, right? So the Gemara is asking, well, HaKodesh Baruch Hu is not going to fool anybody and then have anyone at a disadvantage. Seemingly he's making it disadvantageous for the non-Jews. It's going to make a very hot day for them, and they go out and they kick the sukkah on their way out. No, that's not true. Mishum the Yerushalyim is in the Mishkah. Tsama's ad Hagchaga. No, because that's not true. Many times on sukkahs it's very hot also. Yeah? It's very hot on sukkahs. He didn't make it unusually hot. He made it hot like just sometimes at the time when we fulfill the mitzvah sukkah, it's hot. So if you, the Gemara says, right, that well, we know that if it's too hot, a person's mitzvah, a person's in distress, he's part of the sukkah. So they did nothing wrong apparently when they left the sukkah, right? But the answer the Gemara gives is they shouldn't have kicked the sukkah. Why were they kicking the sukkah when they went out? Right? So you see, there's a basic point that you can apply to the Rebbeinu Tanya in Sefer Yosher. It's your attitude upon what's happening to you. How do you integrate what's happening to you in a way that you can still serve a HaKodesh Baruch Hu? I mean, all these things we're talking about: wealth, fame, exile, captivity, sicknesses, all these kind of things affect a person's service to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, who's a voter to HaKodesh Baruch Hu. But if you integrate it properly, you can use these events to enhance your service of HaKodesh Baruch Hu. Right? So likewise, with more in the Avodah Zorah, had they left the sukkah, they would have been correct in leaving the sukkah. But they didn't have to leave the sukkah in a way that showed their disdain and dislike for what was happening to them. That's one of the things we learned a few parshas ago, that we left Har Sinai, right? We left Har Sinai like a tinok boreh minacheder, like a child running out of school, right? So you can say that was considered perilous. That was considered something not proper. Not only not proper, it was considered to be a tragedy. It was considered, what's the tragedy, right? Because the fact that they had to leave, they should have left sadly, right? But the fact that they left happily, like a child escaping from school, right? That made it a tragedy. So it's all, as we'll continue on with tomorrow, it's all on how you integrate the events that's happening to you, and that's the key. The way your attitude is to the events that occur. It's a shame. Tomorrow.